Hello everyone, my name is Aaron. I'm going to be joined by Brian and Jessica for this presentation, and our team name is Leadership Think Tank. So these are the three leadership styles that we'll be discussing in this presentation. I'll be starting off with the autocratic leadership style. Brian will go into the passive avoidant leadership style, and then Jessica will finish off with the transformational leadership. So autocratic leadership is also known as authoritarian leadership and is characterized by one individual having total control over all of the decisions made within that group or organization. It's also characterized by this leader not taking in or valuing much of the input that's coming from its group members, and these group members are rarely trusted at times with the decisions or the work that they're doing in important tasks. Also, these leaders typically make choices based on their own decisions and judgments, and they rarely accept advice from their followers as well. And one more thing is that they like to work in highly structured environments. So just like a lot of other leadership styles, the autocratic style has both benefits and some weaknesses to it. And when and where the authoritarian or autocratic style is most useful can depend on factors such as the situation that they're working in. So its strengths are that they are good at quick decision making, and they allow everyone to know their roles so that they can execute those tasks effectively, and they're effective when strong and directive leadership is necessary. So examples such as surgery, when surgeons are performing the surgical timeout or safety pauses, the authoritarian leadership style kind of plays into this role because it makes sure that all the roles are being outlined and making sure everyone knows the role going into the procedure. And also another example would be for this leadership style being in the use of emergency rooms, where this attending physician is making all the calls on the plan of the treatment for patients that are in life-threatening situations. So overall, I think in these situations, the style really improves overall communication, productivity, and it handles crisis situations really well as it reduces the stress on the employees, even though that they're in a stressful environment. It reduces the stress of the employees because they they will know their roles to execute during these tasks. So moving on to the weaknesses, I think that this leadership style lacks creativity. It's it doesn't value others' ideas, and the job satisfaction kind of plummets because this leadership style can sometimes lead to micromanagement. It creates a environment where everything revolves around the leader only, and the employees can become dependent on decision making because that leader makes all the decisions all the time. And they can become dependent on that leader whenever that leader is not in the workplace. So productivity can go down in that sense as well. So I chose to talk about autocratic leadership because I feel that even though um, employee empowerment and a team environment is really important for the workplace, um, and that will come with leadership styles such as maybe a democratic leadership style or a transformational leadership style. But I also value this leadership style because it's extremely useful in situations such as surgery or emergencies. So thanks. Brian will go into talking about passive avoidant leadership next.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian and I'll be talking about the passive avoidant leadership style. This style is often referred to as the do-nothing style because there's no management support to its employees. There's often no supervision on any projects whatsoever. It's often referred to as a laissez-faire type leadership style. So now I'll be talking to you about the strengths and weaknesses of the passive avoidant leadership style. Now there aren't really many strengths to this leadership style, so we'll be looking at the weaknesses in depth. So first, we'll be looking at the effect of this leadership style on the performance of a business itself. So we'll be looking at aspects like profitability and employment growth. Now, the passive avoidant leadership style has been shown to have a negative overall correlation with these factors when it comes to the performance of a business. So we'll be looking at the learning climate of a business next. Now, a learning climate is basically how an employee can learn new skills and just grow as an employee. Now, once again, the passive avoidant leadership style has been shown to have a negative correlation with these factors. As you can expect then, job satisfaction is very low with this leadership style and turnover rate is high. So in conclusion, the passive avoidant leadership style has an overall very negative effect on businesses. For example, if we look at certain factors within the business itself, such as profitability, this leadership style has a negative effect on that. Now, when we look at the employees again, there is an overall lower job satisfaction rate, which means that there's a higher turnover rate, which as healthcare managers, we should strive to avoid. Now, when we look at other leadership styles, especially the ones that we talk about in this presentation, you'll find that the leaders are much more involved in the processes of the business itself and of their employees. Now next, Jessica will be talking with you about the transformational leadership style.
Hi, my name is Jessica Lacker, and I'll be talking with you guys about transformational leadership. I started with this quote from Nike Sportswear Company that states, "In transformation, there's no finish line." When thinking about transformational leaders, we often think about several aspects. The first being that they make things happen that would otherwise not happen. They also create environments that are engaging and allow people to do their best. They also demand innovation, encouraging risk taking and fostering learning from a failure. They model the way forward and look into the future as to what the next purpose will be. They encourage challenge from below to the colleagues that oftentimes sit at the top. Transformational leaders also inspire people and encourage them to be better than they ever thought they could be. They also foster a fun work environment that allows employees to enjoy their job, often leading to employment satisfaction. They also continually ask why and why not when answering tough questions about the business or the clinic status. When characterizing leadership, we often look for leaders that overcome hardships and they also overcome their fear of failure by allowing people to learn from the failures that they have experienced as well as letting them try again. Moving out of their traditional comfort zones allows for more open mindedness in the workplace. Offering risk taking as an option rather than risk aversion raises the game personally and encourages others to do so. We've just reviewed three different types of leadership styles: autocratic, passive avoidant, and transformational. When we're comparing and contrasting, I decided to take each one and look at them separately. When looking at autocratic versus transformational, you see a top down approach versus the all level decision making approach. You have a lack of creativity with autocratic versus a demand for innovation with transformational leadership. You have a low job satisfaction with autocratic because they don't feel that they have enough control in their day to day operations. When transformational encourages employee empowerment. Passive avoidant leadership versus transformational is a very different type of leadership. Passive avoidant leadership often is hands off, while transformational is hands on. And passive avoidant leadership has no support versus a huge supportive framework with transformational, as well as no supervision versus an active participation by the leader in transformational leadership.